Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Selamat sore, Bapak Ibu sekalian. Goedemorgen, dames en heren in Netherlands. I'm Ani Marsianti from the Indonesian Consortium for Religious Studies, ICRS, and I'll be your moderator for this session on human nature in Indonesia. The research on human and nature in Indonesia is conducted by researchers from the Indonesian Consortium for Religious Studies, ICRS, the Center for Religion and Cross-Cultural Studies, CRCS UGM, and Radboud University in Nijmegen with 10 local researchers intensities. The two Indonesian organization are academic degree programs, Master of Arts and PhD in Religious Studies. And from Radboud University, we have Professor Franz Weissen, who will introduce this research shortly. And we are also supported by the Human and Nature Research Center at Radboud University. We are also part of the Netherlands-Indonesian Consortium for Muslim-Christian Relations, NIC-MCR. But okay, before we going further, I would like to say thank you for the winner committee for providing us with this platform to present our work on human and nature in Indonesia. And thank you all for speakers and the participants for your time and interest. Now, I'd like to mention briefly about our program for this session. First, we will have Professor Franz Weissen, who will explain on human and nature in general and maybe a little bit about Indonesian case. After that, the presentation will be started for about 25 minutes, followed by discussion and then concluded with some remarks. Okay, without further ado, I'd like to invite Professor Franz Weissen. The floor is yours. Silakan, Pak.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, dear participants, it is a pleasure to be here. Welcome you to this seminar on humans and nature in interaction in Indonesia, and I will explain briefly about our research. From February till October, our team, the Humans and Nature in Indonesia team, conducted a research in 10 locations in Indonesia on images of human nature interaction in Indonesia. Spreading a questionnaire, we got about 1,100 respondents. Moreover, in the 10 locations, we also interviewed 10 people. So altogether, we have about 1,100 questionnaires, returned 100 interviews. In this research, we make use of the so-called humans and nature scale. This scale was developed in the Netherlands in the early 1990s as a response to environmental issues, mainly floods of the main rivers in Europe. And we realized that a new approach of river management would be needed. At that time, we thought that we could build higher dikes and by doing so stopping floods. But we became aware, due to all global challenges, that would not be a long-term commitment. So there was a new idea about river management, inspired by the idea that we human beings must no longer fight against water, but we must collaborate with water. We must see nature as our partner. So humans and nature interact. But we also realized that would need dramatic changes. For example, relocating people from their land, from their houses, to make room for the river, and to measure public support for this new type of river management. The Hunt scale was developed to measure people's images of the nature, humans' images of how they perceive their relation to nature. The Hunt scale makes use of a philosophical classification, distinguishing 4 types of human-nature interaction. First, the human as seen as the master of nature, so the human has the right to exploit nature. humans as the steward of nature, so humans protect nature, humans should conserve nature. A third model is the idea that humans and nature are partners, so we collaborate. Humans and nature collaborate. And the fourth image is the human being as the participant in nature. And we are not separated from the nature, but we are embedded from nature. Now, you that scale, we operationalize that scale in 40 items, make it application context, and we were particularly interested in the religious values, how certain images are inspired by people's beliefs and religions. Well, this is what we try to measure in research. As I said, we did that in 10 locations, and in this seminar, 5 local researchers and their findings. And at the end of this session, we can have a discussion. I give the floor back to Annie.
For the insightful explanation. Okay, I'd like to inform you that if you have questions or comments, please type in the comment box. The speakers will answer your question during the discussion part. Okay, since we only have very limited time and we have 5 speakers, let's jump into our first speaker, Mr. Mufdil Tuhri on Jambi case. Okay, Mas Mufdil is a lecturer at the UIN Sultan Toha Saifuddin Jambi. So, but due to some difficulties with the internet connection, some presentation will be in video format. Okay, so please, Mbak Ulfa, help us. Let's see Mas Mufdil's video presentation. Do we have our video, Mbak Uswa? Or Mas Mufdil, are you there? Mas Mufdil? Can you please open your mic and camera? Okay.
Thank you for having me here. It's such an honor for me to present my research on this reputable conference of winners. I would like to begin my presentation today by showing you one of 2 pictures that I got from the field. The first picture, which is in the above show us a problem of nature in Jambi, which is located in one of neighborhood in Kerinci district. It could be stated in the wall of the bridge saying that dilarang membuang sampah di sini. Please do not throw waste in here. From other side of the wall stated buang sampah di sungai. Please throw waste into the river. In my observation, I asked the people about what made them consciously making such a warning. They said they intend to solve the waste problem in their area, which not being solved for a long time. People don't want to throw the waste away because they think that it will not be sent to the garbage dump. In their experience, the waste has been left for a long time so that it become a problem of pollution in.
Mas Muhdil, please open your camera and speaker. Maybe we can just go live. But I believe Mas Muhdil is still on the way from Yogyakarta International Airport to our guest house. Probably he's in the blank zone. So shall we?
Yeah, hello Mbak Ani. I'm sorry, it's quite difficult to present and because I don't have good signal here. I'm on the train going to Yogyakarta.
Okay. So I think we can just move to the second speaker first and go back to Mas Muhdil later on. Is it okay? If it's okay, I think, yeah, we can go to the second video from Mbak Niwayan Radita, Mbak Dita. She's a lecturer at the Universitas Udayana. Right, Mbak Dita? Okay, please, Mbak Uswa, let's see Mbak Dita's video. Oh, okay.
Ani?
Yeah, Mbak Dita, please, if you would like to present your presentation live.
Yeah, I think so. Can you share my PowerPoint? Or should I send it? Share it?
I think you're better equipped than me because I'm using my cell phone.
Okay, wait. Share screen. Okay. Maybe from the committee, can you share my screen, my PowerPoint, please? Tahu cara. Or maybe I can just, okay.
Wait.
Can you?
I think with StreamYard, we have to be very patient. Okay,
Okay.
we have it on the screen. Please, Mbak Dita.
Yeah, thank you very much. So in this presentation, I want to talk about the human-nature relationship, a study case in Bali. So I okay, the next one, the introduction, please. So maybe I can just start. So actually, I want to talk about the majority citizens of Denpasar, because we have, like many various citizenship and also various ethnicities and also religious beliefs who lives in Denpasar, as it's the capital city of Bali. So therefore, in this presentation, I have the main question is that what is the differentiation in the concept of human nature for Denpasar citizens? And in this analysis, I'm using the qualitative methods that I used to know the diversity of the Denpasar citizens, and also by using in-depth interview for getting the image of the people on how they look at the relationship between human and nature, especially in Denpasar. So actually in my PowerPoint, I have, like the map of Bali, and also I have the map of Denpasar, but unfortunately I cannot share it with you. But actually, the total of Denpasar citizens in 2020, okay, maybe you can go to the map of Denpasar. Yeah, the total actually it's 962,000 people, and the male are 491,000 people, and also the female in 2020 is 471,000 people. Can you go to the fifth slide, the map of suburban in Denpasar? So, okay, maybe I can wait. The suburban. So in this map, actually, you can see, okay, in this map, you can see actually the suburban in Denpasar, because, Denpasar is the capital city. So when you see in this area, there are many people crowded, and also there are no suburban, but actually they are. Okay, so and then I divided the Denpasar citizens into two, the urban citizens and also the suburban citizens. So the urban citizens are the blue and white collar workers, and then government employees, private employees, and when you see the suburbans are farmers, gardeners, and also fishermen. And how to look at the urban citizens? So they look at themselves as the part of the nature or the participant, and side by side with the nature or the partner. But in suburban, it's kind of interesting. So they look at themselves as above the nature, and above human is the God or the steward, and human above nature or the master. But when you see why I call them that way, because in the urban citizens, they work in an office or indoor environment, so indirectly attached to the nature. But the suburban, they work in a rice fields, garden, or the sea, so they directly attached to the nature. And the production of their work relates closely to the human being, the urban citizens, but the suburbans, they closely relates to the nature, such as like the production, like the rice, vegetables, and also catching the fish. And for my conclusion is that, so because I divided them into two categories, urban and suburban, so Denpasar citizens kind of divided themselves into these two types. So the first one, the urban citizens that live among the human being, and also they kind of symbolize themselves, or they kind of feel themselves as inside the nature. But for the suburban, because they control the production of the rice and also the vegetables and all of that kind of things, so they create themselves to control the nature. So that's my conclusion for my presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mbak Dita. Oh, an interesting case in Denpasar, yeah? Okay, I'd like to remind you again, if you have some questions or comments, please kindly type in the comment box, yeah? And the presenters will answer your question later during the discussion part. Okay. So far, we have two cases from Bali and Sumatra Island. And the next ones, okay, let's hear the presentation from Java Island. The first is on Surabaya case by Mas Ahmad Fatayillah or Mas Ade. Please, Mas Uswa, kindly just play the video if you would like, or Mas Ade, you want to present this live?
Well, I'm okay to present online or to present, but I think
Okay.
if you're okay with my connection, so I will do it.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's good.
Okay, okay. So let me
Please,
share
Mas.
my slide. Is my slide clear?
It's coming. It's coming. Okay. Now
Okay.
it is.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mbak Ani, and all audiences and speakers. I'm going to present my research finding in Surabaya. First of all, let me show you the religious demographics of my respondents. So my samples consist of Surabaya people of different religious affiliation, age 18 to 55. They are dominated mostly by Muslim, as Islam appears to be a major religion in Surabaya, according to a census by Statistik Surabaya. It is then followed by Hindus and Buddhists by 8% each, and Christian, Catholic, and Confucian by 7% each, and finally indigenous religion by 5%. Like other researchers in other areas, I'm using both qualitative and quantitative approach by distributing questionnaire and conducting interview to collect the data. Out of 108 respondents, there are only 10 people who proceed to an in-depth interview. And Hinduism is not included here, as I hardly find any indication of hierarchical perspective in the responses. There are some issues that are commonly expressed by informants throughout interviews. First is about the flood that is often occurred in some areas of Surabaya, particularly during the extreme and unpredictable weather, such as the one that is happening recently. And when it comes to the causes, mostly they refer to the rather humans' irresponsible acts than God's intervention. One example is littering. They are very much complaining about this bad habit of managing the waste. The next environmental issue that often comes up is a massive building construction. They find this phenomena disturbing as it gradually reduces their green areas. You can see, for example, in my picture here, there are skyscrapers built only next to the reducing green areas. and as if like the skyscraper try to replace the diminishing green areas. And finally, the last common issue that often expressed by the informants is about the temperature that is very high, and this is make people in Surabaya very uncomfortable about the situation. And now we come to the most striking point of my findings. The Muslim and Catholic respondents, whom we identify as religious, both in principles and practices, tend to exhibit a hierarchical perception over the relation between human and nature. They believe that though both are created by God, human possesses unique elements that no other creation has, and this makes them deserve the top position in this order. Those elements are reason, moral responsibility, and God's image, all of which are, they believe, sanctioned by religion. By reason, for example, human can think what are bad and good, not only for them, not only for their own species, but for the entire universe. This kind of thought leads them to thinking about the idea of moral responsibility. As the only creature that is endowed with that special quality, human plays an existential role as caliph, or what in Islam literally means God's successor, charged to preserve and maintain the earth. Where is God then in this hierarchy? Well, unlike the idea of great chain of being in medieval Christianity, for example, God occupies no position at all within this order, because they believe that as a divine being, God shouldn't be confined to that proven structure. Well, nonetheless, notice again that this standpoint doesn't apply to Hinduism since the early survey, and to Confucianism, Buddhism, Christianity, and indigenous religion after they are deeply interviewed. Finally, among the practical outcomes of this view is what I call an instrumentalization, an idea that nature is valued for the sake of economic benefit or simply to help humans survive. For example, from a devout Muslim teacher when asked to give a suggestion for public authorities, or a comment expressed by a Catholic youth when he was specifically questioned about the relation between human and nature, exemplify the case in point perfectly. Well, you may, because the time is running out, you may read their comments in my screen here. So again, and to conclude my presentation, the way people in Surabaya perceive the relation with the nature influence the way they treat the nature. And this is predominantly informed by their understanding of religious ideas. Thank you, Bani.
Thank you, Mas Ade. Sorry. So, interesting presentation. Okay, next we move to Semarang case that will be presented by Ms. Asma Lutfi. She's a lecturer at the Universitas Negeri Semarang. Okay, without further delay, please, Mbak Asma, you have 5 minutes.
Yes. Okay. Upload file.
So can you share your PowerPoint?
Oh yes. I tried to present slides in your computer. Okay. Upload.
Okay, it's coming.
Okay.
Please, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Mbak Ani, for the opportunity. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And today, I would like to present my paper has title, Exploring the Relationship Between Human and Nature in Semarang, Indonesia. As stated by previous presenter, we have conduct research on relationship between humans and nature in several places in Indonesia, including in the Semarang city. Semarang is a city in central Java, which is located on the northern coast of the islands of Java. Topographically, Semarang has three regional characteristics. There are lowland and is coastal area, middleland, urban area, and highland is plantation area. With this type of topography, the Semarang city area has a distinctive and different environmental problem. Environmental problems that often occur in lowland areas are tidal flood, garbage problems, and hot weather. And the middle area, middlelands and highlands is a west problem, flood, landslide, and hot weather. Okay, and apart from having a diverse topography, Semarang city also has a multi-ethnic and multi-religious society. Nevertheless, the Javanese are the original and the majority ethnicity, and Islam is the major religion in Semarang. Regarding the relationship between humans and nature, I will explain the perception of the adherents of these religions. Islam, humans are caliphs on earth, the same as Mas Ade said. Humans are given means which causes their position to be higher than nature, but humans do not control nature. As God's creatures, the position of humans with nature is equal. Humans are obligated to protect, care for, and preserve nature. They need each other, natural damage due to human activities. And the Catholic and Protestant perception is God created nature before humans because nature is the infrastructure for human life. Nature is a gift from God to human, and humans are responsible for maintaining and protecting nature. In terms of creation, man is superior to nature, but his position with nature is equal. The relationship between humans and nature is a relationship that needs each other, takes care of each other, depends on each other, but not a relationship that dominates each other. Buddhists, humans and nature have a harmonious relationship. Humans should not be dominant over nature. Hindu, humans and nature have their own lives and need each other. The relationship between humans and nature is manifest in the Buddha Yadya ritual. Then the balance of life and relationship with lower creatures or invisible creatures is always considered. Confucianist, humans must give thanks for the gifts of nature. There is a worship ritual of Sang Quan Tai Ti, god of the three realms who rules over land, water, and air. And okay, based on the Han scale, or human and natural scale, the Semarang people's perception of the relationship between humans and the nature generally corresponds to the stewardship and patronage scale. Nevertheless, in the case in Semarang, the paradigm of the Semarang society does not only depend on one scale, but these two scales are mixed with each other. Religious understanding, local culture, values, and life experience are the basis in shaping the Semarang people's perception of the relationship between humans and nature. Okay. With this paradigm, the people of Semarang city express it through various activities in two main categories. There are social dimensions such as gotong royong and work together to clean the environment, managing trash and plant trees. And the second one is a religious dimension such as yasinan and recitation of the Quran, see alms, pray, putting offerings in a certain place. The social dimension is real work that is oriented towards improving, caring for, and protecting the environment. While the religious dimension to get protection, life safety, and salvation from God. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Asma. Thank you very much. Okay, let's move to Bandung case. Mbak Hilma, you there? So it will be
Okay.
presented by Miss Hilma Savitri. She is a senior researcher at the Agrarian Resource Center in Bandung. Silakan Mbak Hilma, you have 5 minutes. Okay, it's good.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, I will make it faster. 5 minutes, maybe enough for me. Sorry. So the most interesting data gained from observation in Bandung City, so that it doesn't necessary to relate all views about nature with people belief, particularly their religiosity. So it's different with previous presentation, always relate to the religion or something like that. For example, we believe that well-educated person or whom are working as civil servant could perform their acts on the environment. In fact, they are not sensible. At the end, in general, almost all respondents or informant I interview depends on authorities to pay more attention to environment sustainability in Greater Bandung. So more than that, I assume that to know deeply about human and nature scale, especially in Bandung, need to understand about the common problem of Bandung related to the nature. Can you move to the next slide, please? Yeah, I saw the map of Bandung. The Greater Bandung is like some regency surrounding Bandung who that influence to the problem of nature in Bandung. As a city surrounded by mountains, the area looks like a bowl and becomes the important sources for income generating of the region. The form shape of the city is possible to pull the water from the mountains, while no wall or battle to hold the water, which is flooding yearly. So people believe that it is important to take care of the forest area or landscape in all border of the city or in the Greater Bandung area. In fact, industrial area developed in the southern of Bandung has been impacted to the nature, which is influencing to people livelihood. Flood is yearly disaster in the area, so some respondents originated from this area. Their view related to human and nature scale mostly influenced by their experience over natural disaster. Sorry. It is also happened to whom living in northern area of Bandung, that is recently often happen landslides. They focus to their disaster experiences rather than their capability and intellectuality, as well as the belief about nature that interlink with human life. So most of response basically about first, human and nature is about typical natural disaster, and second, all resolution put into the authorities' responsibility. So I move to the first issue that I would like to raise. Disaster is a routine in the Bandung Greater. People realize that the flood they experienced were man-made, but every informant whose opinion was consulted, it was impossible to make repairs until the flood didn't occur again. Residents who often experience flooding said that if the management of natural resources in the upstream area was regulated from the start, the flood disaster that had been routine for decades would not have occurred. Unfortunately, the experience in the southern of Bandung didn't serve as a lesson to the authorities. So the same experience has occurred in the North Bandung area recently. The phenomenon is the same, namely in water catchment area that are not managed properly, where development is left that doesn't pay attention to environmental sustainability. So that when there is heavy rainfall and nothing can hold water, the residential areas of Bandung City become the target of flood disaster. The people's vision to restore environmental condition is considered a utopia because as much as the people's effort are, the success factor is largely determined by other extractive activities which must also be stopped. Therefore, they are only trying to minimize the number of losses that will be faced each year individually when a flood hits, not trying to be a part of solving problem collectively. This is where the contradiction lies that in general residents understand very well what they experience, especially when there is a natural disaster, flood or landslide, it causes and solution, but they are more preoccupied with only saving their life today or not thinking about environmental sustainability for future generation. If one of the component of the Han scale is the partnership relationship between human and nature, then in this case it's so parallel in term of sustainability in the midst of difficulties. And the second one, human nature and the authorities. Bandung resident experience of disaster is based on historical understanding related to the origin of disaster around their homes. As followers of Islam in general, they see that there is an imbalance between maintaining the relationship among human and between humans and God. Human relations, which are also motivated by economic factors, have led to sustainable natural disaster. Only with strict enforcement of the rules can environmental damage be reduced from time to time, and at the same time build people's confidence that a relatively good understanding between them can be the capital for long-term joint action from the family or household level. Meanwhile, the biggest source of damage is also the government's portion to solve it. This is the perception of the peoples. In the northern part of Bandung, for example, so that the provincial government can control permits for forest clearing to be used as resort because the area is water catchment area. In the southern part of Bandung, the government also needs to be more assertive in regulating in territory so that economic activities can continue to run, but people lives can run well. Especially in the southern part of Bandung, the existence of the textile industry certainly really needs the presence of workers to turn the wheels of its economy. And there are people who live in the areas that always experience flood every year. At this point, again, it is difficult to determine whether people are considered as colleague or master in Han scale perspective. Thank you.
Okay. Very dense. Thank you, Mbak Ilma. Okay, Mbak Ilma supposed to be our last speakers, but due to technical challenges earlier, we couldn't play Mas Mufdil video. So shall we go back to Mas Mufdil video? At least we try one last time, Mbak Usba. Okay. Let's wait for the video.
Thank you for having me here. It's such an honor for me to present my research on this reputable conference of winners. I would like to begin my presentation today by showing you one of two pictures that I got from the field. The first picture, which is in the above, show us a problem of nature in Jambi, which is located in one of neighborhood in Kerinci district. It could be stated in the wall of the bridge saying that dilarang membuang sampah di sini. Please do not throw waste in here. From other side of the wall stated buang sampah di sungai. Please throw waste into the river. In my observation, I asked the people about what makes them consciously making such a warning. They said they intend to solve the waste problem in their area, which not being solved for a long time. People don't want to throw the waste away because they think that it will not be sent to the garbage dump. In their experience, the waste has been left for a long time so that it become a problem of pollution in the neighborhood. I found this as one of two issues which are crucial for my research background in Jambi province. I found Jambi have different kind of environmental crisis, including deforestation, mining, and waste management constitutes an ethical problem for the research. Here, I would like to limit my research questions by exploring the problem of research about how religious communities and youth environmentalists respond to human and nature in Jambi case. I would try to ask two important questions. The first is, how is the relevance of environmental crisis to human and nature relations? Secondly, how do they think about environmental crisis in relation to nature? The response of some religious communities, such as Muslim, Buddhist, Christian, Catholic, Hindu, and belief adherents or indigenous religions, as well as some other youth environmentalists, saw common perception on human and nature as two entities that could not be separated. They share common perception regarding the way to making balance and relationship between human and nature. Some of their quote here: human and nature are come from the Almighty God. Whenever nature is devastated by human, it will affect for human as well, through mechanisms that have been created by God from the first time. However, they have different view about the hierarchical relationship between human and nature. It seems quite common to see Muslim, Christian, Catholic, and Hinduism communities have common knowledge regarding human and nature relation constituted from normative sources, such as the scriptures, which emphasize the hierarchical relationship between nature and human. Meanwhile, Buddhism and indigenous religions see the relationship between nature and human in relational way. Likewise, youth environmentalists observe human and nature in more complicated understanding, referred to ideological and social value based on their environmental ideology. Regarding question about environmental crisis toward human and nature, I found that they generally said that the neglect of environmental crisis was caused by the low awareness of community for all forms of activities that damage the environment. However, I see that there is quite difference between understanding of religious leaders from religious communities, who generally intend to advocate the principle of human and nature relations through community environment, including education, religious sermon, and planting trees. Meanwhile, youth environmentalists have shown some concrete actions, such as voicing protests through social media against the destruction of nature and encouraging the realization of concrete actions, such as making ecoenzyme and so on. In conclusion, although these two models have different kind of action toward environmental crisis, I would say that these two models can synergize in building human and nature relations in order to reduce the negative impact of environmental damage or crisis. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mbak Usha. Wow. I'm glad that we went back with Mas Mufdil's presentation. It's really important information for us to know. Okay, thank you all the presenters for the fruitful presentations, all very interesting cases. And now shall we begin our discussion? Okay, but first of all, I would like to invite Pak Frans Wijsen. Do you have any comment on the presenters? Please.
Well, first of all, thank you for the wonderful research. What we see is, of course, a variety of issues dealt with and a variety of explanations, causes, and possible solutions. But what strikes me more, I mean, from the perspective of the Han scale, is the ambiguity of the human being. If I remember well, both in the Sengerema case and the Surabaya case, people mentioned the human being as the Al-Khalifa, but the interpretation seems to be different. When I understood right in the Surabaya case, the interpretation of the human being as the Al-Khalifa or successor of God means that the human being has the right to use or maybe even exploit nature and has the responsibility to protect nature or conserve nature. Whereas what I understood from the Sengerema case is that the image of human beings and nature is more equal. So the human being is not above nature, but humans and nature are equal partners. And of course, that is an interesting finding that people refer to the same idea, human being as Khalifa, but the interpretation is quite different. And I think that that is definitely something that we can explore further. I leave it at that, and maybe we can come back to it after the discussion.
Okay, thank you. You mean Semarang and Surabaya, Pak?
Yes, did I? Semarang and Surabaya, yeah.
Okay, okay. So Semarang is Mbak Asma and Surabaya is Mas Ade. Do you have any comments for Pak Fran's comment? Mungkin Mbak Asma, please.
Thank you, Pak Frans. Yes, I agree with Pak Frans. Khalifa is human is Khalif, yeah, based on the Quran. But in the Semarang, I have we can see a different interpretation about this. I think it's about. I think that what is it? They say it's not about human is over in nature, but is equal. It's equal position between human and nature. Yeah, and therefore they have to respect nature, and they have to take care for nature. Yes.
Okay, Mas Ade.
Yeah, I think let me clarify a little bit about what Surabaya people understand about the term of caliph, because actually what do they mean with the term of caliph is related to the way they use or exploit, quote by quote, the nature in terms of their financial benefit. So actually, the emphasis is more on the benefit that they got by exploiting or by using. Let's make the best term here, by using the nature. So I think it's quite different with the way, for example, in mastership over nature, because mastership over nature emphasize the rights of human exploitation over nature. So I think what caliph means in Surabaya, at least in Surabaya's perspective, is there because humans are created by God, and they are representing God on this earth. So they have right only if they can make benefit from this exploitation, from that usage of nature. So again, the emphasis here is more about the way people get benefits from that kind of action.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Entering the religion aspect is quite scary, actually. But is there anyone here that see the, this is just curiosity, see the difference between how male and female react to this relationship between human and nature? I mean, like, I'm asking the people here, Mas Adi first, then Mbak Asma, and then we go to Mbak Tita and Mbak Hilma and Mas Mufti. Mas Adi, do you have any experience with your research?
Many experience actually, Mbak. I mean, the things that we experience, one thing is about people resistance, because we do our research during the pandemic, of course. So it is quite difficult to meet people in person during the interview, because some people resist to meet us. So, but again, I think that's that is different cases. So yeah, many experiences actually that we can share. But I think uh, other colleagues from other regions has more interesting experience to share.
Okay. Thank you. Mbak Dita?
Yeah, Mbak Ani, thank you very much. I think for me, it's just when I went to the research field, it's kind of difficult for me when I choose, like random person for me to interview or for me to ask if they want to, what is it, like do the questionnaire. So my technique is that when I have someone who already know, for example, like the Konghucu, because I do not have any friends that are Konghucu. So I asked a friend if they know somebody there. So from him, I kind of get the contact, and then I kind of make an appointment. So that's how I make a close relationship with them, because when I go there and I just said like, okay, I have this kind of a research, so they will have like curiosity, or maybe they kind of a negative feelings because they do not know me very well. That one.
Yeah, I think that's the challenge of becoming a researcher.
Yeah.
Right. So is there anyone yet want to comment on the other or ask question? Because we don't have any question in the comment box. So yeah, I think it's just us speaking, talking to each other. If I may, just to start this, Mas Mufti, that in Jambi, we all aware that there is orang rimba or suku anak dalam, spread around this province. Did you encounter one or manage to interview them or ask some survey question on them?
Yeah, I quite difficult to find to meet with orang rimba because they stay in Taman Nasional Bukit 12. It is quite so far from my location research in Jambi City and also in Jambi District, Moro Jambi Regency, because orang rimba is located in Sorolangun. Sorolangun is part of district in Jambi. Maybe 4 hours to 6 hours to can reach them. But I fortunately I interview with mu'alaf from indigenous religion in Orang Rimba. They have converted into Islam, but from their perspective, I can say that his perspective is quite related to indigenous perception on human and nature that I found in many research, maybe from Pak Ancu, where they emphasize on the relational way of things, how they think about the relation between human and nature, and they don't see that nature and human is separated or in hierarchical, but in relations. Yeah, and also I found others adherents of indigenous religion, but it says yeah, orang rimba only one who have been converted to Islam. I'm sorry, but I'm still in station of Yogyakarta. I just arrived by.
Yes,
Okay.
it's okay. Well, here's this some emergency situation. My phone is too hot, and my battery is running low, and my internet is not coming back. My Wi-Fi. So, Mbak Dita, I think you have you have now. It's your turn to you know to bridge everyone here to speak with them. Is it okay, Mbak Dita?
Okay, okay, Mbak Ani.
Okay, thank you very much. I think, but still, and Mas Mufdil is buffering, I think. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, but if suddenly I'm out of the picture, that means that my phone is dead.
Okay.
Okay, that's just a quick emergency situation. But please, Mbak Dita, I think the floor now is yours. The forum is now is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Ani. So actually, we have one interesting question in the box, the chat. So there is from Nina Tamam. So I don't know if he or she, but she asks like human nature and religion. Could you please share your thought about the connection between those three in Indonesia? So this question for all speakers. So maybe who wants to talk first? Mbak Hilma, maybe?
Yeah, thank you, Mbak Dita. Since my research not focused on religion, but I would like to share my thought about it. Of course, as our presentation before, Mbak Nina Tamam or Kak Nina Tamam, it's quite different among the city. So our research separate in 5 cities in Java and another 5 in out of Java. So all of the researchers except me relate to the religion things. So it's quite different. So I maybe I couldn't tell one each of them. But in my case, Bandung, I don't avoid to relate it to the religion, but in fact, I don't know, all of my respondents didn't relate it to the religion, to their religion, her or his religion. Maybe this is like methodological issue also for me because I go first to the area that consider consists of rural people, which is in the suburb area. So the problem always coming to respond my question, to respond the questionnaire. That's why I couldn't explain everything related to the religion in Bandung. But I think I believe that all that human nature and religion in Indonesia quite different in every cities. At least in our research under human and nature scale with Pak Hans. I think that's my explanation for Nina.
Okay, thank you very much, Mbak Hilma. Okay, the other?
Yeah, maybe I can explain that the Mbak Nina Tamam question. Yes, if we talk about human nature and religion, especially relationship between human and nature, I think in Indonesia and the case of my city, Semarang.
I'm sorry, Mas Musbil, can you? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. The Semarang people's perception between relationship between human and nature is based on their religiosity. So if I interview them, they refer to their religion value and religion perception about nature. For example, for Muslim, they say human are khalif, but the interpretation of khalif is different. Is my funding in my research. Yeah. So human perception about nature almost based on their religion and cultural value. Is all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we still have 2 more minutes. Maybe Pak Frans for the closing statement.
Yeah, maybe just a small comment on religion. So we did a pilot study, and we found that what religion people have does not matter. So the responses to the Hans scale for Buddhist, Catholic, Hindu, Muslims were almost all the same. But what matters was how religious people are. So we found quite a difference between people who say that they are very religious. They tended more to the master paradigm, and people who said that they less religious, more to the master paradigm, and people who are more religious to the steward paradigm. So that is something that we will explore further. Well, to close, I thank all the participants and the researchers for their interesting insights that they provide. And to the listeners to this seminar, if you are interested in this research, and if this is something that you think, well, maybe I want to continue this type of research using the Hans scale, just contact us. We will put the material on the website. And so if you have an idea, well, I want to do the same research in my own location, we can help you to do that research. I think that's enough. I give the floor back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Frans, and thank you very much for our speakers. And so this is the closing. And I hope for the participants can have, adding more knowledge about human and nature, and also for our knowledge of Indonesia. Thank you very much. So the floor I will give back to the committee.